I don't know if that came through or not, but thought that was pretty cool. It's been there a long time. Been there for a long time. They renovated it probably 20 years ago. I don't know if they're still keep maintaining it. I don't know if it works even. It's something how we came from where we came from as a nation. The technology, it's pretty amazing how it's really off the roof. Off the roof, really, the last, 100 years? Crazy all get out. Crazy as all get out, I'm telling you. Starting to think a job might be better than Uber, except for the fact that it's cash money. I mean, I guess Angie's List might be a good thing, but then you got to have all your tools in a van and everything lined up perfect, you know. It's like they got you between the, you know what, no matter what you try to do, there's either regulations or it don't really matter what you do. It's always going to be a struggle. I'm hoping that if I upload enough audio, and I tell you how big the Matrix is, and I show you how the music, the TV, the news, everything is, it's like neuro-linguistic programming. You're being programmed neuro-linguistically, and you don't even know it. And the only way you're going to see it is to isolate yourself for about 5 years, I think. Took me when I cut the music off, I cut the TV off like 20 years ago. But when I cut the music off, and it's been about 7 years probably, was I cut the music off. Let's see, is it 7? Maybe longer. But when I cut the music off, you know, I do the public radio thing if I've got a writer who doesn't want to talk.
Live from NPR News in Culver City, California.
I try to find something that's not.
The White House says President Biden congratulated Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
I try to get something neutral, you know, but that's kind of liberal. But that's the way public radio is here. But see, that's another thing. I'm listening to public radio, and I know it's all programming. I know it's all fake. They're putting a. Don't think that the CIA is not involved in that. They're programming people, whether it's Facebook, public radio. They're trying to put these thoughts in your mind. You're being programmed 24/7. And the only people who break the program that I have found in my online experience are people who use the code. Now, there's some saved people who can break the program, but I haven't found many. But people who see the code, they'll see the red versus blue. They'll see comparing people's. I mean, when you compare yourself with somebody else, the Bible even talks about that. That's just not even. That's the old nature. comparing yourself with one another. Touch not, taste not, handle not. It's a legalistic system. It is a legalistic system, I'm telling you. Nothing but legalism. How many people have cut off their TV, cut off the music, went into 10 years of pretty much isolation, decoding this reality with the letters and the words, comparing it with Scripture? How many people you've ever heard did something that crazy? I did. And you might say, well, why did you do it? Because I wanted to know the truth about this place. And 20 years ago, if you just said to me, this is a holographic projection from the cross, it's all a simulation, the same story. See the red and the green right there? Cain versus Abel. See the crossway right here? We're going through the cross. Everything's the story of the cross is happening every moment of every day. The wheel's turning. That's the cogs of the machine. That's the sine wave, the sin wave. Everything's turning, birthing. What's the symbol of the wheels? Birthing you to your new state, your new destination. What's the Bible verse? We're changed to a new creature from glory to glory, state to state. The Bible agrees with the code, and it agrees with the etymology, and it agrees with the symbols, the shapes, the colors. Everything in front of you is the Bible. It's a story. It's a cartoon land. Compared to the 5D, this is a cartoon. Okay, there's another green. How many times have we seen a green light with a turn signal? How many times have we seen this bridge? Does the bridge look like the bridge in your city? Yeah. That means it's a fractal hologram. You might as well be right here. I might as well be there. It's the same story. How many trees have you seen? How much concrete have you seen? It's all a repeat. I had to go through something recently just to break me out of I was to the point where it's like, the dangerous part about seeing the code, I'll give you an example of seeing the code, but the dangerous part about seeing the code is every moment is the same. And if you get to that point where every moment is the same, it's like, how in the world do you function when you know? See, when I'm driving, every instant is the same. There's nothing new to me. I've seen it 1,000 times, and you have too. Every moment is deja vu. You put your shoes on yesterday, and you're gonna do it again. Deja vu. Everything. You couldn't even function without deja vu. So this here is a bus route, right? And notice it says parked. P-A-R-T. Coble Transportation Center. I haven't decoded. But anyway, something came up in a text, or somebody said something about partner. Okay, so what is a partner? There's a piece here, and there's a piece here. Partners. So the man has a partner, his wife, right? What is the part? Part is a piece. A piece of what? A piece cut off. From where? From source. Who is source? Jesus is source. And so the pieces cut off come together, and in communion, to commune, communication, communion, they come together. And what do? They face off with each other, face to face. Now we're all in series. See the train, how it's all in series. See the train in series. See these dashes in series. See these telephone poles in series. Everything's in series and sequence after Christ. So you got these two pieces of the pie from source, a piece cut off, and the two come together, they become one. Now that's symbolic. In 3D cartoon land, they become one. The Bible says it, right? The man and the woman become one. But it's supposed to be one spiritually. If they might become one physically, but usually it turns into a cult because they're not spiritually born again a lot of times. And it turns into fighting and drugs and drinking and arguing and jail and abuse and all kinds of evil words, talking back to each other, calling each other names, stupid stuff like that. And so the two pieces come together, and what do? They commune. Apostle Paul says, don't withhold yourself from one another lest the devil tempt you. What is he saying there? He's using the physical realm to show you that there has to be communication and communion in the spiritual realm. Because if you're not on the same page, how can two walk together except they be in agreement? Then you're not going to be together. And the physical stuff becomes routine and gets old just like anything else, just like your job, just like anything. And if you're not growing with somebody spiritually and learning new stuff, you get stagnated. And what happens when you get stagnated water? You spit it out. It's not good. Makes you sick. So if the two people, the man and woman, are not growing together spiritually, because the spiritual side is forever, the physical side dies. And so you see these older people who've been married their whole life, and then they get older and they don't even want to live, they don't even want to talk to each other. I've seen it. You actually see them yelling and screaming at each other. I saw a deacon one time, a Baptist deacon. I used to go over and ask him questions about the Bible. His wife was Pentecostal. She was in the other room watching Pentecostal preacher. He was in the living room watching some Baptist preacher. And I used to think, why y'all got the TV on? Why y'all sitting there watching TV in separate rooms and different kind of preaching? It's like ridiculous. Anyway, they would yell at each other. Cut that off. I mean, they argued about doctrine. He would say, they would scream. I mean, I'm over there visiting, asking the guy some questions because he knew the Bible. But I'd sit there and they got used to me being around, I guess, enough where unless they just argue with everybody. They're probably dead by now. But he would say, because he knew the Bible, he knew it up and down. She would yell from the bedroom. It's not like I was over there all the time. I mean, I might have went over there once a week or once a month, and it didn't matter. She would be hollering from the bedroom, because he might have a preacher on, or he might be talking about, me and him might have been talking about once saved, always something. She'd be in the bedroom hollering, you lost your salvation, or something stupid like that. And he'd say, shut up, woman, I ain't got time to talk about that. You don't know what you're talking about. Stuff like that. It's like, what? I thought y'all both were church-going people. She wouldn't go to his church, and he wouldn't go to her church. Like, one was Pentecostal, one was Baptist. This is stupid. So they yelled him back and forth. I've seen stuff. I told somebody recently in an email, I said, I've lived like 10 different, I didn't say 10 at that in an email, but I've lived like 10 parallel lives. I've listened to people in so many different, and when I see the unhealthy or the confusion, I get away. If it's a church that's unhealthy, if it's a family, in-laws, whatever, I just leave. I have this ability just to cut. If it's a job, I just don't go back. I'll get me another job before I leave, unless it's too bad, and I'll just leave. Go knock on the door. Now as you get older, you don't do that. You try. What I do now is I try to make it the environment healthy by being healthy myself, because they have to reflect. It's all, you reap what you sow, right? What you put out, you get back. But anyway, I started thinking, this is not the kind of marriage I would want to be in. And if this is the doctrine of this church, I got to get out of this church, because I was a member of that church. I said, I got to get out of this church. It's crazy. And you see a lot of people, they have a sour face. They're not happy. They're in a little box, and somebody thinks for them, and they can't think for themselves. Sad. It's really sad. And then when you break free from all the boxes, you get attacked and lied about because you're not going to go into a box. And then when you leave the denominational boxes, the New Age people try to pull you in their box. You say, I don't think so. There's all kinds of boxes. As you grow, as you go about your life, they want to pull you into a political box. They want to pull you into a New Age box. They want to pull you into any kind of organization. All the 501(c)(3)s, every single one of them. They want you in the box system. The corporations and the jobs, the corporate jobs and the corporate churches and the corporate system, it's all a corpse. The only thing living inside a corpse is a living, breathing, born-again saint. Because the average person is a dead man walking. They have no truth. They're dead. They're dead in trespasses of sin. They can't break free. They can't stop the addiction. They can't stop the cycle. They can't stop the fighting and the arguing, and they can't stop the revenge, and they can't stop the bitterness, and they always in unforgiveness, and they're always trying to pull you into their little death cult. And that's what I'm serious about. That's what I'm trying to teach you. That if you have peace, be thankful. If you can go home, lay down in the bed, no expectations on you, you just do your duty, pay your bills, try to get out of debt, and you don't have anybody there expecting you to, why'd you throw your shoes on the floor? Why'd you throw your socks on the chair? It's just a pair of socks. I worked all day. Leave me alone. Let me have some peace. Let me have some peace, woman. You didn't go out there and fight the battle, did you? See, I ain't gonna get in those kind of arguments. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I ain't gonna fight about it. And you can't fight. Most people are in a box. I'm sorry. Yeah, you should show respect if you got to be in the same close quarters with somebody. You should treat everybody with respect. But if one spouse ain't working, the other one is, somebody can help out. Have the food ready, have everything folded, have everything like you like it. Your keys in a certain place, your wallet in a certain place, everything. Don't move my stuff around. Don't try to mess with me. Don't try to, I go out here and fight these crazies. I want to come home to peace, But then you go home and you got an enemy in your own house trying to take away your sleep, well, let's go to the beach. What do you mean? We got this bill to pay. Well, we hadn't been to the beach in a year. Well, I ain't been to the beach in 10 years, so what's that about? People say all the time, won't you go take your vacation? Okay, let's say I go somewhere. Say I go to the beach or the mountains or something. What's up there? Dirt, concrete, sand, water, trees, palm trees, whatever. It's the same. No matter where I go, though, I'm there. I lived at the beach. I lived on the beach. The front right there on the beach. Well, I worked on the beach 8 hours a day. Might as well live on the beach, working somewhere on 8. And those waves just keep on and on. And it's like, this is getting on my nerves. I didn't know the waves would get on your nerves. God was waking me up then. I thought, as I was working there, I didn't see it. I wasn't decoding. I was caught up with some woman trying to stress me out. And so I could, when you caught up with somebody trying to stress you out instead of being in peace, you can't see the code hidden in plain view. Everything is code. It's just like the Matrix, but it's spiritual code, not ones and zeros. I know you think it's crazy, but it's the truth. I promise you it's the truth. Actually, you can use your thoughts to I can write into my next day. I can go home right now on a piece of paper and write down what I want to see the next day, and it will appear. I can go to today and paint a picture. Let's say I paint a picture of take my paintbrush and I draw a picture and I paint some girl with orange hair. And next day, I'll either pick up a Uber rider with orange or somebody at work will have orange hair. I'm serious. I know you think that's crazy, but that's the gift that I got. It happens to me every day, every 4 hours. You can actually summon people to appear in your hologram. They might not appear. I mean, it might take 6 months in something like that, but they're going to appear. And a lot of times they might be appearing and just watching what you're saying, you know. Here's something else. I know you don't believe it, but I know it's the truth. If you're in a quantum connection with a coworker or somebody, and you just be still and know that I am, right? If you're just in a quiet, peaceful, thoughtful process, a thought will fly by. It's like it goes by like this. It's like, imagine this space here is your brain. A thought will just fly by. If you're in peace, you can catch that thought. I don't need a dream catcher. I'm not a witch or a warlock. I just did a lot of contemplation, just stayed in silence. You know, I didn't sit around and go om in a corner, but I just meditating on the word. But I would catch these thoughts. And 5 minutes later, somebody would say something. If you interact with a lot of people during the day, and you get still, boom, you can see, you can hear it. It's a thought. It's not something you see or hear. It's just a thought. You can see it before it appears. Because and it took me a long time. I thought, what is this? This is crazy. Nobody will believe me, and I know they don't. But I had to meditate on it many years. I thought, what is this place? It's a copy machine. Now let me tell you, like these phantoms that show up. All right, let's say you were at the house, you were on vacation, you just stayed home, you didn't leave, you didn't do nothing. Let's say you watched a series or something. Look at this. Most people will be beeping the horn, pushing the horn, and upset, mad, been out of shape because somebody pulled out in front of them. But let's say you took a vacation and you didn't talk to nobody for a week, and you just watched a series. Let's say you watched the Flash series or some kind of drama series. And the first part of the series, let's say the same introduction came on every day. Now this is real. Okay, because this did happen. Let's say that you were watching the Twilight Zone, and there's this like something that, like at the beginning, it's like a light or something. Let's say you took a vacation, you watched that series for 5 days in a row, and you didn't interact out here. What would happen? Because we're in a copy machine, it will either appear in your dream, it will appear in the window, you'll think it's a ghost, you'll think it's going to appear because it has to. Because it's all a reflection. The sound reflects, this reflects. If you really want to be able to, this is deep level stuff, and I shouldn't even talk about it because you'll say, prove it. Well, I can prove it, but I've tried to prove it, and people don't listen. People who want to quantum connect with you and kind of get into your psyche or whatever, that are high level spiritualist or whatever. I meditated on this. I haven't really not talked about it much, maybe once or twice, but I meditate on this a long time. I know what they're doing. They'll read a book or something. So they'll have this book they're reading, and they read a paragraph a day or a chapter. And if they're talking to you every day, the storyline starts to mesh with the book. Seriously. You might think that's crazy, but I promise that's possible. It's happened. Because this is a cartoon. This is 3D. This is not 5D. And imagine an angel looking down here, or God himself looking down here. This is 3D land. He already knows the beginning from the end. So imagine you looking at a book and opening the beginning and opening the end. And this is why they don't, like, if you, let's say you connect with somebody you don't know is in the dark side, right? And they have to have that quantum connection, because they're trying to quantum connect with you to have something happen. And when you disconnect, you walk away, it makes them mad, because their scheme or whatever they were trying to manipulate in reality, manipulate 3D, it's just not going to work, because you just quit quantum connecting with them. It makes them mad. I mean, really mad. So here's the thing. Now here's the secret. If you think that you got a witch trying to mess with you and write into your script, right? That's why the doctor has a prescription. If you think somebody's trying to write into your script, change your routine. Go here. Go somewhere you didn't go before. Go talk to somebody else. Seriously. I know it's crazy. I didn't want to believe it. But I went online to try to figure out what was going on in this place. I used the online because it's all a fractal. I looked at the online drama. Remember, there was 10,000 subscribers, and he had that one girl. She was behind the scenes emailing the other women, saying this and saying this, and she says, let's all get together and go see him, and we're gonna go over there, and I'm gonna get with him and mess his world up, or something like that. I thought, and then I had a sister in Christ email me and warn me that what she was doing behind the scenes, because there's like double agents out there, and so these double agents actually saved my life many times. And the thing that was going online was a symbolic representation of what happens in 3D. And so when you're watching a movie and everybody says, well, how could such and such cartoon predict the future? They're not predicting the future. They're writing into the future. And if this is new to you, I know it's kind of scary, but you're doing it. You're not a witch, but you're doing it. And you might say, how is that? I'm not doing it. Yeah, you are. You just don't know you're doing it. Every day of your life, your thoughts, your words, you're actually programming yourself. And every phone call you take, if you talk to the same person every day, you're actually programming them, and they're programming you. That's why it's best not to listen to certain programs, especially if they're cursing all the time, because what's the Bible say? Or imply? I can't remember what the verse is. Bad company corrupts good moral. This is why they're broadcasting. They're using this.
At this point in the race, which, as we said over and over and over,
to broadcast you. What is a broad? It's a negative connotation. To broadcast you down, to bring you down. Instead of you being in control of your thoughts, which writes into the script, they want you bombarded with noise so they can write into the script. And those like me who actually, by the grace of God, finally decoded what's going on, because there's nothing new. You just go around your circuit every day. You go to work, you go home, you eat, you sleep, you go to work, go home. You set you a vision. Let's say you want to do rental property. Let's say you want to build a business or whatever. They're going to send the agents to try to pull you off your calling. Now, these agents might be willing agents and they might just be ignorant agents, but they're going to send the agents to pull you off your calling. And when you really see they've been doing it your whole life, it kind of makes you mad that you were deceived. But then you're just not mad because at least you're saved and you've learned it. You've learned it finally, you know. And I know it sounds crazy, but you can pull up. You can go. I can scroll through this radio and in like little packets and see what's going on. And I can think about a person, put that person in my mind, quantum connect, scroll through this radio, and pull out little data points to see what's going to happen tomorrow, what happened yesterday, what's happening now. Because the precog and the postcog and the present cog are all the same. Now each day or every other 2 days or whatever, a person has new thoughts or you have a new thought. It's right in front of you. It's right here. Let's see what he says.
This week on Code Switch,
Code Switch. Somebody was talking to me today. I talk to a lot because she's seen it. When somebody's around me in the 3D, they say, "You just talked about that. You just said that." Exactly. Everything's happening now. Everything's connected. Jesus is outside of time. God's outside of time. Every moment is a now. There's no new story. Everything is a precog, postcog, and a cog, and everything's deja vu. It's all happening now. There's no new game. The devil has no new game. You already know the game. I already know what this waitress is going to say when I go in there. It's easy.